So with this ECU, anytime you work with them, you have to make sure you have your 120 ohm resistor with you, so that you'll be able to communicate with it. And if you don't have your 120 ohm resistor, you will not be able to communicate with this ECU particular. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and make the connection. But for the connections, the only way we can do it is to check if our ECU is communicating. So what I'll do is let me start my connections. So this ECU, it needs 3 power and 3 ground. It needs 3 power and 3 ground. So what I can do now is to connect them together. So let me find my 3 power, sorry, and 1 ground. That's for the gpec ECU. So 1 ground. Then all I need is can high, can low. So let me see, can high, can low. So we will try to communicate with it. What I'm going to do for this ECU is, if you can see the EEPROM. So this ECU has an issue, and let's try and see if we'll be able to communicate with it. So let me start my connection. Normally this and 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2 for ignition. Then we have our ground. After this, I'll verify it and make sure. Let me close this and close this. Let me do my multi-prog and use my multi-prog to do the connection. So with my multi-prog, it will help me to do the connection. So I'm turning on my multi-prog, then can high has to come first. It always confuses me. So today I'll wait for it to. So the multi-prog is up, and I've also connected my multi-prog because that's what we are going to use for. That's what we are going to use. So let me do this. And it's not only the multi-prog, I will show you another two. So let me select gpec2. gpec3. We are working with gpec3. So let me select any of the two, okay? And let me go to P now. I want to know where can high and can low is exactly. So let me see. Okay, so that means can high is on the downside, as I said. So it's on pin 9. So let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and communicate with the scan to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to try and communicate with the scan to. This is the only thing I need this thing for. Let me connect my power supply, but before that, let me check one more thing. This thing always confuses me. So it's 1, 2, then the third one. Okay, so now I'm done with that. So now I'm done with that. Let me connect my homemade power supply that I'm using. So if you can see, this the power supply I'm using, and this is the voltage I'm getting. And this tells me that the ECU is alive because I'm reading enough current, and if you can see, it's around 0.35 or 0.3. So the next thing I can do is I have to try and see if I'll be able to communicate with this scan tool. So let me set up my diagnosing device. Let me push this to this side a bit and set up my diagnosing device. Then yeah, I found the VCI. Connect the VCI to increase the current a bit. So because the VCI also consumes power, so it will increase it a bit. So the next thing is to scan it and see the port code. Scan it and see if I'll be able to read the. So let's see. So now my VCI is connected, and let me go to system. So my 120 ohm resistor is on and my power is on. So now I should be able to communicate with the device. So let me go to auto scan. What we are going to do here today is sorry, I've already diagnosed this issue and I know it's having a problem with the EEPROM. But the reason why I'm sharing this video is I've not tried this, but I don't know if it will work or it will not work. The reason why I'm saying that is because I'm having a different EEPROM, which is um M95. I'm having a different EEPROM, which is M95. So this is the EEPROM that I have, M95640. And the EEPROM for these ECUs are 802508. Sorry, 8025. It's not 0808. It's 8025 320, right? And I'm having this EEPROM. So the difference between this EEPROM and that EEPROM is the sizes. So this one is a 8 kilobyte EEPROM, and this EEPROM, not this type, but the one that I'm about to open to you guys, that is the. So if you can see, they have, but all of them are what we call SPI series. So this EEPROM, so when it comes to the EEPROM world, the M25, right? When it comes to the EEPROM world, the M25, M sorry, 8025. So my EEPROM is this type. That's the EEPROM that the ECU use. So this ECU uses 802530, right? And I'm having EEPROM which is M95 640, which they use for their RFA and other modules, which is 8 kilobytes. But the EEPROM in this ECU is not 8 kilobytes, is 4 kilobytes. But I'm trying to use the 8 kilobytes in this 4 kilobytes and see if it will work. My issue is this EEPROM in this ECU is faulty, so it's not working. So if you can see, I'm trying to scan it, auto scan, but it's not working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select it manually and select the ECU and see if I'll be able to communicate with it. Then from there, if I'm able manual selection, if I'm able to communicate with it, I'm going to change the EEPROM in this ECU and see if the EEPROM will come back to life. And so I'm going to change the EEPROM in this ECU and see if the EEPROM will come back to life. So data, I have data already. So let me say 2015 um Grand Cherokee. So Grand Cherokee. Okay, KL. So I have a data on recently like Cron and ECU, gpec3 ECU for a client. So I'm going to use that data and write it into the 8 kilobits EEPROM. It should work. So the reason why I'm saying it should work is we are going to do a little bit research on this. I've done that research already, but I want to share it with you guys. That's why I'm doing this live. So you can see the replacement EEPROM I can use will be M95 320, which is 4 kilobytes EEPROM. But I'm having um, M95 640, which is 8 kilobytes EEPROM. So I'm going to use that 8 kilobytes EEPROM and write the data onto it. So this is the type of EEPROM that I have, SO8, which is the 8-let. So this is the EEPROM type I have, and let me go to where I was confident that it's going to work. So when you are checking the EEPROM, you check from the legs, or let me put it, you check the pin out of the EEPROM. So if you check the pin out of the M95 and you check the pin out of the 8025, that means both of them are using the same leg. So I have a video whereby I was able to read data using the legs of the EEPROM. So what we are going to do now is, now that from our research we are able to identify that we can use, because if you check select, this chip select, this VCC, this ground, this power, this holding. So if you check all of them, they've labeled them here, right? They've labeled them here. That's for the M95. And if you check the 8025, they are the same legs. That's the main reason why I'm going to use it. But for now, let's go into my diagnosis. Let me see if you guys can see the screen. So in my diagnosis, I'm not going to do auto scan. I'm going straight to control unit. Select powertrain and select ECU and see if machine will be able to communicate with it. So the reason why the machine was not able to auto VIN it is because the EEPROM is in the sorry, I said the EEPROM. So the VIN number is in the EEPROM. So the EEPROM contains the VIN number of the vehicle. So you can see now I'm able to communicate with it. Let me check the fault code in the system. I'm able to communicate with it, but the first time I wasn't able to communicate with it. So if you can see, it's telling me this is the first fault code. I hope you guys can see. So the first fault code says P060, which is internal processor, internal control processor. Then we have the P1602, which is control module not program, because the EEPROM is blank, right? So now let's go back and see if we'll be able to see any ECU information, because now as we've checked, our ECU is able to communicate, but we are not able to communicate with the flash, with the EEPROM, which stores vehicle security and credentials of the ECU. So like the VIN number, the part number, and those things. So let me go to ECU information and see what I'm going to get there. So from vehicle information, you can see I'm not able to get the part number. Sorry guys, the part number is showing blank, and I'm not able to get the part number and nothing on board. So that tells me that I'm having the only thing I can get is the Motorola. That's why it's saying ECU not program. So now, after identifying all this, what we are going to do is, so this is where I was able to, this is where I got to, and I was able to conclude that my EEPROM has failed due to heat or something. I don't know why, but my EEPROM has failed. So now what I'm going to do is, um, I'm not going to connect using this. Maybe I'll do that later. And see if it will work. Because with the gpec3, I've tried multi-prog. It's not able to connect it. I've tried DC7006, which is the OBD style. It's not able to connect it. So the next thing, so that's the reason why I went and get my EC Euro, which helped me a lot, because with the EC Euro, I can read the EEPROM and connect to it and even flash it with the latest calibration of the vehicle. So now what I'm going to do is, let me go and select my EEPROM. So this is the EEPROM, and I'll do something so that we also check. My EEPROM is M95640. That's the EEPROM that I have. So that's the EEPROM, that's ST. And you can see the status. I'm having that EEPROM to be 8 kilobytes or bits. So let me do read and see if I've not deleted the data on it. So yes, so this tells me that my EEPROM is empty and there is no data. So let me open. Recently, as I said, I did a job on this type of device. So let me disconnect my power, and I'll turn on my, bring this back when I need it. And now I'm going to select, let me go down, see select. Okay, so if you can see, recently I read this ECU, and let me go to OG. So you can see that there is a 4 kilobytes data, right? So I'm writing it on an 8 kilobytes data. It will go, just that the other space will be left blank. So this is the VIN number. So anytime after writing this and replacing the EEPROM, when I scan, I should get this VIN number, which ends with 9347. This is the other VIN number, the location, and the part number, and everything. So now that I have this here, let me do read. Yeah, it's telling me it's small, but it doesn't matter. So it can write that data. That is the most important thing that I need. Okay, so now what I can do is, so with this one, see, there is something here that we are about to do. When I select 925, when I select the 9320, I should be able to read it, because that file is 4 kilobits, and because they are the same EEPROM family, they both work. So you can see when I read it now, I can get my data, and I can also go and select the 80, and it should work. So if I select the 8025, because they are the same family, it should work. So 802564, I should be able to read my data. So let me read again and see. This is 8 kilobits, right? So you can see I'm able to read my data, and I'm having my data here. So let me select 80, 32, 80, 25, 32, which is the original for the ECU. But with some of the ECU, maybe the processor is not built to carry or to handle data of that capacity. So sometimes if you try giving it a higher EEPROM, it might not work. I don't know if this one is built to do that. So what we can do is, now I have my data on my EEPROM, right? So if I'm able to put this EEPROM on this ECU and it works, then that means I should be able to get my VIN number and everything back perfectly. So I'm hoping I didn't turn the pin 1 away from the pin 2. And normally this ECU, what I can see is So what I can see is the sliding bevel side is facing down. So that's the same thing. That's the same way I have to fix the other EEPROM that I'm about to fix. Um, so let me. So now I'm done with this. After this, I'll try gpec3. I'll try and see if today multi-club will be able to communicate today. So let me bring you guys up. So the reason why I'm taking it to this side is because so these are certain projects that I'm building so that in case I go mobile, I can use them. So because of my blower, the location of my blower, that's why I have it that way for you. I brought it to that side. So I've been using this flux for now, and I really enjoy using this one. What I can do is um, this paste is very good when I use it. It makes me feel okay. So I've put enough flux for it. Then let me turn on my blower. My blower is already on. But let me pick it up so that it turns on. And normally when you are starting an EEPROM job, me I will advise you, if you want to be safe, you have to make sure you have your blower. Okay, if my blower can come to this side, let me bring it to this side because and let me have my tweezers. So if you have your blower, now that my blower is warming up, let me also, sorry, I've vlogged you guys for today. So you should be careful with the resistors around it when you are doing this kind of job because the whole issue is it can mess you up easily. And this issue or this EPUB is difficult to remove. I don't know why they made it that way, but it's difficult to remove. So I just have to make sure I have enough to remove. And okay, it's still not softening. And you have to regulate the power also because if you make any little mistake, the resistance beside it will be also will be so I need to remove this apron as quickly as I can. And it's real time, so you should just know how long it will take for it to be removed. I'm just hoping it just will heat up the leg quickly. And sometimes it also depends on the tip of your blower. So I just have to warm it up. and you have to make sure you don't do it too much so that you don't burn the board also. If you do it too much, you might end up burning. Okay, so it will be shaking a bit. Else you might end up burning the board itself. So you have to regulate your heat also. It's good to use high temperature, but you have to be very careful, else you might end up burning the EEPROM also if you use a temperature that is too high. And if you use too much air also. So with this issue also you can do um with this issue what you can do is you can also do the okay, so I'm hoping down a bit, then I can lift it. Sorry that I'm not setting up my camera for you guys to see the exact thing that I'm doing. I'm trying to see how the okay, it is almost up at that side. Yeah, I've lifted it, so it's left this side also. Hoping I'll be able to lift it. So don't be lifting the EEPROM, else you might end up damaging the board. So it looks like the other side is very stubborn. Okay, everything is out now. So now the EEPROM is out. The next thing I can do for myself is to use my iron to prepare the place. But before I do that, let me put a bit alcohol into it and clean it and put floods there. Okay, I just want to clean the paste that I use. Sometimes it's a bit sticky, so just leave it this way. Sorry, I don't mind my own professional using normal brush for this one. And I would advise if you are using alcohol, you have to get so I've taken that EEPROM out, right? Let me paste there so that I can. some flux on it, and let me do it mine. I should have this thing here. Oh, in my boxes. Don't mind me showing you stuff. Okay, so now let me do that. So let me just take some out. This side. Let me take I have to go and buy extractor. So what I'm going to do is clean it a bit. More alcohol there, clean it a bit. Okay, so I don't know how you guys can see it, but it's a clean job. What I'll do is I have to add a little bit soldering paste in there. I have this soldering paste. So let's see. So guys, if you can see how clean the plate. So now there is no lead on it for me to put the apron. So I have to put lead on it. And I have this soldering paste that I know it has expired, but I still use when needed. Let me see if today it works. If it doesn't work, then try another one another time. Okay, so then this should be here. So with the help of the soldering paste, I should be able to get let's on. Okay, so this is my soldering paste that I use for this job. Let me put it back in the rubber. And after doing it, let me just melt. So wow. So what I can do now is to clean the lid. What I should have done was to save it. Mhm. To clean the lid and see how to do that. Mm, Now I'll redo them. So let me pour more. And okay, so with the brush, I'm able to get it clean up a bit. I found one of my yeah, so now please have it lead on it. I have to make sure. So now I have a little lead on it. But I can also do it if the lead is not okay for me. Take lead. So that lead I used first had a low melting point. So after doing this, now I have my EEPROM in my multi-pro. So this is my EEPROM. I'm about to remove it from the multi-pro, and I have to find for the bevel side, and which is this. So when you hold it this way, you see the bevel side, right? With you, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. When you hold it this way, you see the bevel side. So let me place it on it. Can put some cloths on it. Okay. The reason why I'm using this, I'm going to also use the blower. I'm also going to use the blower is to get it on. You can also do it this way, and you are good to go without the blower. It should work. So I am hoping I have not turned it. Shit. Ah, I need to use the blower. I've turned it, so I need to use the blower. I've turned it upside down. I need to use the blower on this. Let me add a little bit flux. By the time my blower gets to the temperature it needs. This one, because I didn't use a lot of lead on it. What I'm going to do is use this blower to bring it off as quickly as I can. Okay, from that again. I didn't want this phone to tap at all because it's a new phone. I don't know what happened when I did that mistake. So let me use my let me prepare the recipe and place it on it. So I was buying an apron to fix this PC, and I bought the wrong apron. So I'm hoping by the time I'm done with this apron repair, it works, because I bought a lot of this. Come on, just happy. So with this one, I'm not going to use the blue again. I should have confidence in my apron work with my soldering, and just work with them. Sure everything is perfect. And when all of them are connected, I don't need to do any EEPROM. I don't need to do any blowout again. But before that, let me. I don't have to cool it. I have to wait for it to cool. Because doing my metal work class, whenever you force to cool a metal, you change its abilities. So you make it a bit brittle or that or other things. But I'm done cooling. I'm done. I'm done. And I don't think I have any issue with it. So now what I can do is I'm done with my cooking. I'm done. You take it as you see it. So this is my new EEPROM bar. Okay. You can see here is the EEPROM bar. So let me take my glasses. So this is my glasses. Let me examine the legs properly and make sure all of them are intact. Okay, it looks like this one is select. Let's see. So for this time, okay, everything. It's left with only one leg, which is not touching. It is this leg. I don't know why. Okay, let me put a little bit lead on the tip of the iron. A little bit lead on the tip of the iron. The next time I will move this thing. I'm the one that will struggle to remove it. Okay, I have enough lead. Enough lead on it. And I think it's more than that. So I think it's well done now. So what I have to do is to examine it again. Examine it on this side. And one leg is having too much lead, which I don't like. So after doing it, let's see. Let me just okay. And check again. It's not compulsory to make sure it is that perfect before us it's going to work. All we need is resource. It needs to work. And all that I did didn't affect any of the resistors around. So now let's connect the we are done with our soldering work. So now let's connect back. Let me take my space. So let me take it off. Let me turn it off and take out my shape. And pack it. And now let me use my programmer and see. Hands crossed, hoping it works. Because the EEPROM is different. Yeah. So let me set for my can high candle. First, let me start from here. 1, 2, 3. Third pin is power. Grab it this way. First pin is power. Side ground. And power on the second line, which is ignition. And can high candle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so now that I'm connected, okay, let me bring my scan to So now everything is connected, and moment of truth. Now that everything is connected, moment of truth. Then we communicate again and see if I'll be able to communicate with my EPROM. Okay, lost communication. Okay, now I should have communication. I didn't turn that power on. Okay, now let me see if it will be requesting for programming. Yeah, so now I've fitted the EPROM, and you can see I'm having all these codes. I'm having all these codes on, and let me go back and let me give you the ECU info. So my problem was the EPROM, and you can see the ECU info. I'm having 2015. How best I can do this. So now everything is fixed perfectly. Let me see if I can. So I didn't change. I changed only the EPROM, and it is able to work. Sorry guys, let me see. Do I even have changed one? I don't have changed one. I even don't have any text on this. So let me see how best we can go through it. Please, I'm coming in, and I want to take off my camera and see if you guys can see. Okay, so now you can see we selected 2015, and now we are having everything: the VIN number, the ECU serial type, and everything because of the EPROM. But now, although we changed the EPROM with uh, a bigger one, it's still working. Everything is working perfect. So what I'm doing is I'm going back. Let me see if you guys can see. I see. Okay, so let me go to auto run and see if I'll be able to read the VIN now. So we are able to read the VIN now, and this tells me that my ECU is working perfectly. So that's the data that we wrote in it. And let me see, let me do auto scan. You should be able to scan only the ECU because that's the only thing on the CAN line. And it has 42 port code. Okay, so I'm able to communicate with it. So that means I can replace the EPROM with that EPROM. So for my research from this site tells me I can do that, and I have done that and it is working perfectly. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. Let me go to ECU information. You remember the previous one? When you go to ECU information, what you get is FFFF, but now we have the part number, the flash, and the ECU. So this is not the correct part number in. Oh, sorry, this is the correct part number on the flash of the ECU, and we have the VIN number, original and current, and we have everything perfectly. So that tells me that I can do any of these things that I want. So with this client or with this ECU, because it was damaged and it was the EPROM issue, the client bought a new one and I fixed and I wrote the data. So now this tells me that I have another gpec3 down whereby I can choose to use anytime. So with the kind of work that I've done on this tells me this ECU should be back alive and should be working. And I can fix it for any gpec3 ECU, and I can flash it with any OS that I want. So that means any gpec3 ECU can be fixed and I can sell it. So with this one, I'm done with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and connect multi-plug with it and bring you guys with me. Don't mind my lab. My lab is a bit messed up. So with this now, this tells me that I'm done with this thing. So let me check the multi-plug connection and see if maybe through their update they have been able to do anything. Let me turn it off. Turn it off. So now everything is fixed perfectly. And even if I want, I can read it with this device. Let me see if I have this device around. Let me take my DTI out so I forget it. Okay, so now there is a damage EEPROM, and I can say it is due to heat that damaged it. So because the EEPROM is difficult to remove. So I have a damaged EEPROM down. Let me put this here. Let me find for my multi-plug connectors. Let me check multi-plug. Let me move back to gpec3. So with this, you can use this device also. Okay. So that means I can sell this ECU right to anyone or place it on any vehicle and do any test that I want. So you can use this device also to read EEPROM, and that's what I've been using to read EEPROM. There's the device here. This device. That's what I've been using to read any EEPROM. And you can see I found a jumper to put it here so that the pin 5 or the 5 volts with some long thing. But it works. It works. I can even do it now, but I don't have that software on this machine. So let's go to multi-plug and try and see if we can do anything with the multi-plug. So now what you are doing next is let me go to connect and see. I don't know if multi-plug has done this. Okay, so now my lab is messed up. I keep saying it. My lab is messed up. Okay. There's so much project on me that I have to do, and I'm still working around it. So now that our EC is working, let's plan for the exact. Let me turn on my light. Okay, my iron is not turned off. Let me check for my motor. Okay, let me see the exact position. Ooh, okay, where the resistors are. I don't know why multiple can read it. After this, also I will also try and see if they have any updates. Keep watching this on this resistor. So I have to solder it to that resistor. Okay. So let me see if I can get my motor pro connected. Yeah, I have the is the ash one, which is P. My motor P1. P1. Okay, so the market for you to know that it's P1, which is gray or ash. There are a lot of people are really confused about which one is green, which one is ash. So I should get my three powers: ground, power, and ignition. So with multiple, the green is ignition, which is also power, but can only be turned on by the multiple itself. So let me start. 1, 2, 3, third one, enter. Then red here. Just always find them red here. Black and blue. Let me see which one. So blue. Alright, so that's so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me count it again. 1, 2. Okay, so now I've connected my motor pro. What I can do is to connect. I think I have to buy this extension cable for my multi-plug so that when I'm doing anything, I don't have to go close to where I placed my multi-plug because my multi-plug is far away from me. Let me make sure everything is there. So I'm seeing if I can read it. So far, all the Chinese tools say they can read it, and I've not seen any single one reading the CC. Okay, now let me hit my connect button. Let me check my power. So I know from my power supply that it should be around 0.3 or 0.2 or 0.3 amps. So it's still trying to communicate with the chip. So the moment it starts turning on, the amperage keeps going up. And let me see if it will be able to communicate with it. Communicate with me should. I don't know if multi-plug needs that 120 ohm resistor. I don't think it should need it. Turn on the second time. Multi-plug, if you are watching, your tool can't read gpec3, and I don't know why. And my update and everything is up to date. So now my ECU is fixed and I can sell it. I'm not going to sell it. I will use it for my training classes. So because they are of the same family, that's why I'm able to use it. I don't know if I've tried it several times. Yeah. It never communicates. So I'm very happy when I saw multi-plug is having that connect. So I'm hoping it's able to connect now. If not, then I just have to forget about it and close the light. What to do? So hoping connect successfully. So check reading field and it ended. So that means the multi-plug is not able to connect it. Let me try one more time. Let me try this thing. I have a 120 ohm resistor here. Let me put it in the middle and see if multi-plug will be able to communicate with it. Okay, so let me try it again and hoping it works. Let me test it. It's not good to test resistance whilst there is power, right? But let's test it. Curiosity will kill the cat. I don't see it getting the full power here. That's my problem. So what I'll do next also will be that instead of the green wire, I'm going to fix another power line over. Let's see if it will work. Because I've tried several times and it's not working. I've tried several times. I'm still not getting any result. I've tried everything. That's the average I'm getting here doesn't spending on. It failed. So should I try what I said the last time? Okay, let me try another power instead of gray. Let me try power rather and see if it is going to work. I'm still not getting any better than this. Okay, the gpec3 can I from 32 kilobytes is wrong. Then I'm getting 2 kilobytes. It doesn't work. Then maybe I think they'll figure the area. Okay, so if it doesn't work, what I'm going to do is because they are the same SPS as um, the gpec2a, I'm going to select 2a or 2 and see if it will work. course for several years. Multiple is not going to do it for almost more than a year now. It's still not able to do it. Good. Okay. Let me change. All I have to change. Give it the normal wire that. Yeah, that one should be with it. So let me distribute. So let me hit on the connect button again. Let me see if I'm going to see any changes here. Because with a gpec3, with the boot you have to get like 3 pins. Oh wow! So I'm getting the amount of current I need. So there is what I'm searching for. It's around 350 amps. So I'm sure it should connect. But if I'm getting this amount of current, that means now the EC is fully communicating. But my problem is, will it open? Because they have the pin. So let me see. Okay. So let me see if it is going to work. I'm hoping it works. I'm really hoping it works. And all of them are using the same EPROM. gpec2, gpec3, gpec, and gpec2, gpec3, gpec2a. All of them are using the same EPROM. I'm hoping it connects. If it connects, I'll be very glad. And they are using the same processor. So if the 2 doesn't work, I'll try 2A also and see if it works. Sorry, that's my multimeter. But for now, I'm still hoping it works. Because it's trying to use different protocols to see. But now I'm seeing a full voltage. And I'm hoping it works. So I'm just patient to watch it. And see if I'll be able to communicate with it. The 3 megabytes that they've written over there for the internal flash, it's a lie. It also uses 4 megabytes. The exact amperage that I want, but I don't know why I'm not getting it to work. That's my only worry. I don't know why I'm not getting it to work. In the exact amperage that I want. But it's still not working. Let me wait a little bit more. Oh, it also failed. This one that was giving me a little bit of. Let me try one more time. If it doesn't work, then I'll go and check the 2A also. At least one of them should work. One of them should work. But I don't know why they have problem with gpec3. And it's not only multiple, but let me see all the Chinese too that I know. I can also try easy. I'll also try. There's no harm in trying. So I'll also try DC 708, 706. Let me see gpec3. It even looks like all the gpec uses the same. All of them uses the same flash. Or let me put it, all of them use the same processor, which is MPC56 for me. I'm going to use this one also. Let me see if I have anything. I'm going to use any text for this job. So I'm just waiting for the multiple to fill it. So let me enter my any text. Yeah, multiple that's filled. Um, this will not. My subscription has expired. So don't mind me. My subscription has expired. That's been a long while. Okay, so now let me try another one again on gpec3 and see if it is going to work. Let me see the one. So with gpec3, download it. So with gpec3, it also has only one port. I'm hoping gpec3 is able to connect. If gpec3 is able to connect, then I'm good to go. Let me start preparing to set up my. Let me start preparing to set. The way I'm getting the amperage, I'm very happy with it. So I'm bringing everything I need for my list. So, how am I going to find this thing? What's up now? My lab to the point that I set it. Things that are supposed to be close to. So I'm going to try it again and see if it's going to work for the last time. for this thing. Okay. That's that's it. Well, I'll be going through it. I'm still waiting. Yeah, so it's not able to connect. It's, so now let me move to my. That means I'm not able to communicate with. Why try for anything? Oh, okay. Okay. Keep that for. Okay. Let me try that for and see. Just capturing everything anyway. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's go. Let's try that for twice and see. Because all of them are using the same SPI. Sorry, MPCs. try for the last time. If it doesn't work, I just switch back to my GC something to see if I want it to work. If it doesn't work, then I know. It's a wrong choice. Submit. So still hoping it works. So let me close it. Online. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to use this, but for now, let me check the ECU image first. So there is the ECU image. Let me go to connector. Yeah, there's the connector I'm going to use. So the same style, right? Then let me go to for yeah, gpec3. So now that I'm not able to communicate with it from the multi-plug, I'll just disconnect the multi-plug from it and try again. And try with okay, I'll figure out a way to connect it. First, let me finish with the connection. So as you know, power, power. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have 1, 2. Let me go here. 1, 2. Power. Let me do this. Power. 1, 2. Power. Let me. So now let it one thing more. So GPT-3. So let me go back. Let me go back. It says GPT-1. So let me see if I try with this, if it is going to work. GPT-1. GPT-1. Perfect. GPT-1. So now I have GPT-1. It's left to me to connect it. This here. We figure a way out to connect this GPT-1. It's going to work. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm gonna connect my connectors, as I'll say. Let me connect my connectors. Um, so I have to disconnect my type C and connect this and connect it to my power supply from this side. Yeah, and my power supply is having almost 1 amp. Okay, so my resistor, my power. Okay, let me go back. Let me go. Now all my connections are done successful. So let's see. Connect. Okay, I've connected it. So I think I'm hoping it works. So if it doesn't connect, what I'll do now is, okay, so it's telling me through. So let me turn my 120 ohm resistor off. And let me go again. Let me see. Okay, okay. So far I've not seen any one. Alright, connecting the DC706 to gpec3. I don't know why, but it doesn't connect. No matter how many times you do it. I don't know if it's not able to take it to the boot mode. I really don't know. Let me try once again. Then let me try select it. Other ECUs and see if it will work. Okay, so back to gpec0 and try this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let me increase the voltage to about 30 volts. So now increase the voltage to 30 volts. Turn everything on and do the right. Open is able to add a boot. I don't know if it's able to communicate with it or I really can't say. It's failing. Do the right step. I need to go to bed. It's almost. So let me try it again. So I've increased the voltage again, seeing if there will be any change. the last time. If it doesn't connect, I'll just try gpec3 or things like that. And if those ones will be able to connect. I really don't know why these devices can't connect to gpec3. Let me go back. Check on this one. If it will be able to connect. This one too is not able to connect. Let me go back and pick 2A. So that's what I'm going to do. I should have this. Okay, let me try connecting it. And all of them are using the same flash. I don't know why it doesn't want to go. The same, somehow to the same dynamic. You see the information. So I'm able to get my EC information. You know, okay, let me disconnect my gpec. Let me start again. Let's see, this time it should give me something. So it looks like it's seen all of it. Okay, what I'll do is let me try to with this one. There's a different MPC 5556. So I'm using gpec2 to read or to connect to gpec3. It's able to connect. That thank God we have been able to find, or we have been able to get one solution. So I don't know if because of the MPC 555, let the bootloader finish reading. And let me see if I'll be able to communicate with it. I'm hoping. see this bootloader doesn't show. Someone might say hope and pray. So let's hope and see. Oh, really? So it says bootloader. You see connection successful. Let me read EEPROM, save it, and check if I'll be able to find my thing in my EEPROM. If that, I'll read the flash also and see the data that I'll be able to find in my flash. Okay, so let me change. I'm not changing the full thing, I'm just changing it to 3. Okay, and let me my case out to this testing. Ooh, really? This discovery is good. So, okay, it's testing, right? So now you're able to read the EEPROM. So let me go to my headset data and see. Wow, 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 wow. So I'm having my VIN number, which is correct. Let me see. Let me go down and see. I'm having the 2 VIN number here. So that tells me that this flash is okay. But my problem is, will the EEPROM read? Sorry, will the internal flash read? That's my problem. Yeah. I'm able to read the EEPROM, but I'm not able to read the internal flash. It's because for the internal flash, it is the wrong MCU. Yeah, let me put it that way. It is the wrong MCU, that's why I'm not able to read the MCU. It is the wrong one. Because when you check the sectors, they are not the same, and even the name. That one is MPC65 and this one is MPC555. Okay, so I'm able to read only the EEPROM. I don't know if it is because I was able to change the EEPROM on it. So if you see the gpec3 is different, right? So the gpec3 is different. Let me do start again and see. Let me see, now that I've been able to do the bootloader, I was able to go through the bootloader. Let me see, this one is also going to load the bootloader. And moreover, the EEPROMs are not the same. I don't know if it is because the EEPROMs are not the same. But I have another one here that I can open and we check and to be different. And even that EEPROM is for the right people. So this should be the right MCU. If it is able to read, then it's a software issue, it's a software glitch. So they have to figure it out and fix the access. Okay, let me split it. Let me start it. Okay, let me do by OBD. And see. Oh, not supported. Okay, let me start by bench. And see. So the thing is, it's not from the EEPROM that I have changed. It's from the software itself. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more videos. See you guys again week, same time, or maybe earlier than that. So let me see if I'll be able to communicate with them. Let me do it. So for some of the ECUs, when you have your GPT connected, it will not communicate. So none of the tools were able to read gpec3. Okay, the Microsoft one just ended. Okay, so if you can see, my ECU is still communicating. So it's from them. It's not from me. My ECU is still communicating. DTC, DTC, pending DTC. Go back and go to development upward. From that, go back and we call it a day. We bring our streaming to an